The foreword in the book, was it Sir Ben Kingsley who
Yes,
did the foreword?
wonderful Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah, he called me, and we met at my daughter's house. He's the most unbelievable, wonderful human being I have ever met. He's a highlight of my life. The
Oh,
1 hour together. He
that's
is a
beautiful.
gem. He is even nicer in person. He's he's great as an actor, but as a person, I have never met anybody better.
Did he say to you, Tova, I'd like to contribute a foreword to your book?
No, I asked him.
Oh, yeah.
I have chutzpah. Well, I thought that I I thought that after spending an hour together, and it was
Yeah.
such a good hour, and he said to me, "If I ever make another Holocaust film, I'm going to dedicate it to you." And he
Oh,
said such nice things about me that my son put, he taped it, a little tape. So I thought I'll take a chance. And he was so wonderful, and he did it right away.
love it. Love it. So obviously your parents were Jewish because you're Jewish by origin. Were they religious, and what were their beliefs in God? What was their belief system, your
Well, my
parents?
mother was very religious. She came from a religious family.
Mhm.
My father was what we would call conservative. I don't know if you know the difference,
Yes, yes,
but
of
a
course.
little bit more religious. But after the war, my mother had complete doubts. She
Okay.
couldn't, she lost 150 people, and they were all very religious. They were
Okay.
ultra, they were all rabbis and scholars. And she thought that if God can take, and she had nobody left, not a single
Yeah.
cousin was left, then why should she be so Jewish? But she did stay Jewish till her death, but without a passion. She did it by habit. There
Right.
wasn't this passion of, going to the temple and all that.
Okay. It's interesting. Have you ever seen the movie Oh God with George Burns and
Yeah,
John
yeah,
Denver?
yeah. Very
Okay.
funny, right? Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies. I think it's from the 70s. And there's one point where John Denver says to George Burns, who plays God, he says, how can you permit the suffering that goes on in the world? And God says, how can I permit the suffering? I don't permit the suffering. You do. He said, I gave you a world and everything in it. You can love and cherish each other, or you could kill each other.
Well,
And that really
yeah,
spoke to me
that's what,
because
yeah.
because I think that there is a higher power, there is an energy source, there is a God, but I feel that once you put free will into the mix, people have the choice to follow a path of love or fear. And I really believe that a lot of the things that go on this planet are not because there's no God, but because we were given the gift of free will. And sometimes it doesn't go right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's why I have good days and bad days where I believe in God and days when I don't believe in God. But
Right.
the days when I do, I see the good stuff that's happening, especially to me personally.
Right.
And I say to myself, it isn't he who put me into Auschwitz, it's other people because he
Mm-hmm.
gave them the same free will he gave me. But I chose this and they chose the other.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a puzzle.
What's interesting to me is that if you don't believe in miracles, that would be like an oxymoron to me because your life is a miracle,
No, I do.
right? the
And
the fact that you're 84 years old and the fact that you lived through being in a ghetto, being in the worst concentration camp, being malnourished at a time when your body needs that nutrition to grow and develop and thrive. And the fact that there were so many quote unquote opportunities for your life to end and it didn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And
How,
even after the war, there were all kinds of miracles. I had
yeah,
cancer and I came out fine
right.
25 years ago. I can look at the miracles all along. There is something there that I'm meant to be here. And that's why I wrote the book.
Right. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. And I did it during COVID, during the worst time.
Right. Maybe made you slow down and realize that you needed to write a book.
Right. And I did it with somebody in London whom I didn't see much. So we were
Okay.
co-writers, and he's completely different. He is a war correspondent, and he's not Jewish.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and we sort of worked it out back and forth. When I wrote, he was sleeping. When he wrote, I was sleeping. So, we sort of, but we got through it.
And his name is Malcolm Brabant? Brabant?
Yeah. Yeah, he is a war correspondent for PBS. He lives in
And
London.
how did the book come about? Did somebody approach you, or did you just simply start writing and then approach?
No. Well, I started many, many times, but I didn't have the discipline. I have lots of papers I wrote. I did one chapter, but what happened, I was in Poland, 75th anniversary of liberation of Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
I went there with my daughter-in-law for a week, and he was there from England. And he did a short documentary on me for PBS, which I liked very much.
Okay.
It was very well done. Not too much, not just right,
Mm-hmm.
And then about a year later, he called me and he said, maybe we should try a book together. I said, yeah, but you were so far away. You have to be here so I could tell you about my life. He said, well, I can't. The government wouldn't let them in, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't let anybody out and in. So we did it long distance.
And I guess, did you use Zoom? I mean, there's so much technology now.
Yeah, but you can, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It's not like I can Zoom for like a half hour and then I go about my business and I say, oh, I forgot to tell him that. It's not like it's not like somebody you can say, oh, let's have another coffee tomorrow. I forgot something today. I've got a whole thing for you to tell you. We'll do it tomorrow. It's different.
Okay.
So,
but yet you guys created a beautiful, I mean, I have to tell, I said to my mother, because she kept saying, are you almost done with the book? I want to read it next. And I said, this is an experience, buckle up, because this is an experience. You will experience everything right along with Tova. And then you'll experience the triumph of her emigrating to the United States, meeting her future husband when she was a teenager, and building a beautiful life and a beautiful family. And it's really, you'll never forget this book. So I'm actually going to give it to her today to start reading. There's something important I want to ask you. Since the war started when you were just a toddler, what was your memory? Because laughter is such an important part of life. When did you first laugh? When is the first time you laughed? Like a real laugh where something is just so funny and you're so happy.
I want to tell you something. I'm not a big laugher. I don't laugh too much.
Okay.
So I decided I have to learn to laugh. So I took a stand-up comedy class.
Oh, wow.
For 7 weeks.
Okay.
And I failed it.
Oh.
He said to me, don't give up your day job. You can't find anything funny in your childhood. So I don't think it's so good. He didn't know my background at all.
Okay.
But laughter has become very important, especially if you do therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You sit together, and it's so difficult sometimes. So I somehow find levity, something that you can sort of laugh at, or simple things like that, like saying, oh, you're all dressed up today. Are you going somewhere? And the person would say, no, I'm coming to you. I said, well, I'm really honored. I never saw you so clean, but something that's comes out funny, not insulting or anything, really funny. So I try very hard I try very hard to see the funny side of things because otherwise life is it's really too hard.
Yeah.
Much too hard. Don't you
And
find it too?
you have a lot of strong sense memory where you speak in the book about to this day you can recall a lot of the sights, the smells, the sounds. How do you and I know that you're a clinical social worker, correct? Are you a therapist?
Yeah.
Okay. In counseling yourself, how do you deal with that? How do you process that day to day?
You mean now when I counsel myself now?
When you counsel yourself, yeah. How do you process it and
I
deal with it?
I want to tell you, my husband died 2 years ago after 60 years of marriage. I believe very strongly in self-talk,
Hmm.
very strongly, because I tell my clients, I see you only once a week for 45 or 50 minutes. You live with yourself every day, 24/7. Great chance to do therapy. Find a spot in your house where you're very comfortable and talk to yourself. I use it all the time.
Me
I do.
too.
Do you? Good.
Yes.
I do meditation every morning.
Mhm.
And
And
I
what is the meditation that you do each morning?
on my own. I've never taken a class in meditation
Okay.
or anything. I just sit like, like yoga position,
Hmm.
close my eyes, and I say, okay, another challenging day. Make me worthy of the challenge. I don't know to whom I'm talking, maybe to the
Right.
wall. I don't know. Make me worthy and help me not lose my sense of humor.
Right.
I do this over and over again, and it's a good way to start. It's as good as having a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Just you start the day like that. But I do believe in self-talk a lot. Sometimes I talk
Yeah.
out loud, and my grandkids say, "Why are you saying these things?" And I say, "What do you mean?" I say, "You're eavesdropping to me." No, you were talking out loud.
I do the same thing. I get busted all the time talking to myself. I've told other people this during interviews because, first of all, it's how I write, it's how I process my thoughts. I talk to myself all the time
It's
and I
so
get caught
funny,
all the
isn't
time.
it? Now you can get away with
Yeah.
it because people think you're talking on the phone.
Yes.
Like
Wait, let me
like you're
fix my
right.
Bluetooth. Yeah.
So I processed a lot of stuff
Right.
I through my life when things were just impossible or difficult, or I made mistakes or
Hmm.
said bad things and I'm sorry about it and all that. I process it so that to see whether I can, live with it.
Yeah. What is your advice to somebody who's going through a trauma and they have to rise to the occasion and survive and overcome whatever it is they're going through?
The thing that I think we need most is hope. If you hope, it's sort of a belief that you'll overcome. It'll just take some time. You
Mhm.
know, one of my favorite person is Ben Gurion. I don't know if you know, he was the first president of Israel,
Okay.
the very first. He he made the country possible, and he used to have a saying that I love: things that are difficult to accomplish will take some time. Things that are just impossible will just take a little longer. So I have that as part of my mental state. And the people go through trauma, and I say, look, you have hope that you will overcome this. It'll just take more time than you expect. You may get
Right.
more help than you expect. You may need different things, but it's going to happen eventually. And you just have to be patient. And you have to be there to get it.
Right.
So you can't do anything terrible to yourself. You have to
Right.
be there to see the change.
Amen. Amen. And tell me from your perspective the importance of the state of Israel and why it's important that the country remains strong and healthy and democratic.
Well, I was just there 2 weeks ago. It gives you such a fabulously warm feeling in how it's growing and it's how strong it is. I feel protected. When people ask me, can this happen again? I want to say in my head, I don't always say it because it's not politically correct. I don't think it'll happen to the Jews. Israel won't allow it. If there would
Right.
be a massacre somewhere, I mean, just imagine somebody will come to Del Rey where all the Jews were, and you will have Israeli troopers
Hmm.
somehow. Like,
Yes.
remember Entebbe?
Who?
Entebbe. Entebbe was a
No.
place in Africa. I don't remember where. Well, you were probably not even born yet. I don't know.
Okay.
And they had hostages, Israeli hostages, and nobody could free them. No one. The Israeli troopers came and freed them.
Okay.
You know,
Interesting. Because we became organized as a people. Yeah.
because they are used to that. Because
Yeah.
we have been victimized throughout history.
Right.
And I think people have started saying no more. No, never again. No victimization. We're not allowing it. And I
Uh,
think that Israel is probably will find a way to stop anything like that that could possibly
right.
happen.
So I usually ask people a certain question, and the question that I usually ask people is, if you could travel back in time and change one famous historical event, where would you go and what would you attempt to change?
I would
Now, with you,
stop. I would stop Kristallnacht. You
okay,
remember Kristallnacht?
yes, the night of broken glass.
Exactly.
Can you explain what that is for people who don't know?
Well, if you give me the exact date, I think it's 1938, November 9th. Could be. I hope I'm not wrong. You can look it up. I
I'll
think
look it up.
time. And Hitler sent all his hoodlums, I call them, because that's what they were, with clubs and guns, and went all through Germany and Poland and all over, destroying the temples, breaking all the glass,
Right.
stores, temples, private homes, and killed anybody who was in the way. It wasn't, I don't think, to kill people, but if you happen to be in a building, you die. And that was the first time, one of the first times, I think, or maybe the first, that he showed his power, international power.
Okay.
And that was the time we should have been stopped. I go back to history, and I would get all the nations together and say, you cannot just go and break everybody's synagogue or everybody's, well, it didn't do the churches, but it's the same kind of a thing. And you are going now to be no chancellor any longer. You're too dangerous.
Perfect. That's a flawless answer. And what do you think you came into this life and into this incarnation as Tova Friedman to learn? And what do you think you came here to teach?
I came to learn that you can overcome. Now, I never thought of it before because I don't believe in incarnation. So
Okay.
the idea, but if I were to believe in incarnation, and if I were to believe that I came here for a purpose, it would be that one can overcome a lot with help from others. I had therapy.
Right.
I was lucky with my family and my husband and my children and my job. I'm still working. So you can overcome, you can heal yourself. That's what I learned
Okay.
about myself. And that's what I would like to teach.
Okay.
Same exact thing. And that's why I'm a therapist, because I believe in hope and overcoming. And you can overcome a lot of pain and come out on the other side cleansed, healthier.
Beautiful.
Do that.
Have you suffered any long-term health effects from from the malnutrition and the effects of what you went through as a small child, or did you not suffer any long-term?
Who knows?
Okay.
I had cancer 25
Right.
years ago. I don't know if that's I had TB, TB, that's what
Tuberculosis.
tuberculosis years ago, all years ago. But I
Okay.
seem to have come out the other side. And I'm
And you're
here
good.
and I'm okay.
Yeah. Since the Queen of England just passed, it was brought to my attention this morning, and I didn't know this. It was an article that was sent my way, that the royal family actually helped a lot of Jewish people during World War II. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. But
You have,
I'm very happy to hear it.
yeah, look into it, because I was surprised myself. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that they helped. I think they saved quite a lot of Jewish people. They helped. I don't remember if it was refugees, people that were escaping the Nazi regime, but definitely look into it, because it's quite interesting.
Wonderful to hear. I was just in the palace 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that your first time there?
I went to England, to London for the book.
Okay.
So I went there for what is it called when you go to promote the book? And
yes.
When I had some spare time, my daughter Taya, and my grandson Aaron went to the palace, and we had we saw the changing of the guards. We did a lot of. I'm so glad we were there at the time before the Queen died.
Yeah, absolutely. And the foreword in the book, was it Sir Ben Kingsley who did the foreword?
Wonderful Sir Ben Kingsley. Yeah, he called me, and we met at my daughter's house. He's the most unbelievable, wonderful human being I have ever met. He's a highlight of my life. The 1 hour together. He is a gem. He is even nicer in person. He's great as an actor, but as a person, I have never met anybody better.
Did he say to you, Tova, I'd like to contribute a foreword to your book?
No, I asked him.
Oh yeah.
I have chutzpah. Well, I thought that I thought that after spending an hour together, and it was such a good hour, and he said to me, if I ever make another Holocaust film, I'm going to dedicate it to you. And he said such nice things about me that my son he taped it, a little tape. So I thought, I'll take a chance. And he was so wonderful, and he did it right away.
Love it. Love it. And your grandson created a TikTok account for you, and you're a big hit.
Aaron Goodman put his name on.
So the TikTok is at Tova Friedman, and you answer a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, I answer questions. I also have a website. Yeah.
What's your website?
It's easy. Tova Friedman Survivor.com. No capitals.
Perfect. Okay. And your book
made it for me.
Huh?
My son made it for me, so it should be easy.
I love how your family is involved in spreading the message.
They're holding me up.
I love it.
My entourage.
I love it. That's the best entourage to have, is family, right?
Right.
And your book, The Daughter of Auschwitz, is out now.
Right.
When did it come out? On the 7th, on your birthday, or did it?
The 6th, the day before my birthday.
The day before your birthday. Yeah. Okay. The Daughter of Auschwitz. It is a beautiful, poignant, tragic but necessary story, and it really, like I said, it's not just a book, it's a journey, so people absolutely must read it. And Tova, I want to thank you so much. This has meant the world to me, truly.
Thank you. You were great. Really good.
Thank you. Likewise. So take care. Best of luck with the book, and this was a joy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.